Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our third track for the day on special session Global Citizen Beyond Indian Shores. Our moderator for this session, Dr. Suresh Kumar Madhusudanan, Managing Director, Seagulls Group of Companies. Dr. Suresh Kumar holds a PhD in Human Resource Management and a Master's of Business Management degree in Human Resources. He has been the Managing Director of Seagulls Group of Companies since its incorporation and is a visionary with a career spanning for more than 3 decades. With his irrefutable experience and abilities, he has earned the reputation of an inspiring personality in the domain of human resource management. We welcome you to the session, sir. It's a pleasure having you. And our panelists for the sessions are Mr. Sudhir Kabra, Regional Director, Rest of Africa at Into IT Technologies, Dr. Suraj Ajit, Deputy Head of Computing, Senior Lecturer and Software Engineering Course Leader, Ms. Saida, Regional Marketing and Brand Specialist at BASF Kanu Polyurethanes LLC, and finally, Ms. Ashwati Ajay Kumar, student at University of Canberra, Australia. Suresh, sir, all yours.
Thank you, Nikita, for the wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
The fellow panelists, Mr. Ravi Kumar, Skillablers team, the people watching the webinar on worldwide. It is an indeed pleasure to be the part of Youth Career Connect 2020, which is a great initiative by the team Skillablers during this COVID situation to enhance informative, insightful, meaningful dialogue between individuals and industries and institutions. As you are all aware of that, actually we are undergoing a tremendous crisis due to the corona outbreak and all. As the country is limping back to the new normal, let us admit the fact that we will have to cohabit with the virus till the time any curative or preventive medicines are made available universally. Our subject for this webinar is Global Citizen Beyond Indian Shore. As far as the Indian human resource management is concerned, we have approximately 30 million Indians living across the world, out of which 9 million are in GCC country itself. The overseas remittance to the India was top with 83 billion in 2019 and approximately $28 billion from GCC countries itself. As India is the youngest nation with an average age of 29, and with 62% of the population are in the working age group. And 54% of the population in India is below 24 years of age. And that is the strength of the country. And in fact, in next 20 years, the labor force in the industries where is expected to decline by 4%, while in India, it will be increased by 32%. Most of the development countries experiencing an aging population. India is growing young workforce can be the asset for just not for the country, but as for the world as well. Probably India is the largest higher education system in the world, but unfortunately, very few institutions are in the top 200. We have 975 universities and 51 colleges. 3.75 crores of students are in the college. 1.62 crores complete SSC. 91 lakhs complete graduation and come out of the college whether passed or failed. As far as the total students, 26% go to the college for graduation, and this may increase by 50% by 2030. We have 1,500 engineering colleges and 30 lakh students are studying in these colleges, and average 15 lakhs engineers are graduating from these colleges. And altogether around 1.5 crores of people are entering into the Indian job market. But 70 lakhs of people are getting formal jobs and 35 lakhs of people are getting certain jobs like informal sector like drivers, delivery boys, like that and all. Rest of the 45 lakhs of the people asked to search for the job internationally, because basically most of the people prefer to go to US, UK, and other Australian countries, but most of the opportunities are coming in the GCC countries. And as I said that actually around 9 million people are in the GCC countries and one among the largest diaspora of Indians in this area. And as far as the recruitment is concerned, because I had a recruitment firm, Paul Siegel International, for the last 35 years. And as an industry, we collectively create 20 lakhs job opportunities every year. This industry is bringing foreign exchange to the through the NRI remittance and all. But the main issue what we facing is that the qualified people, the trained and skilled people. The current statistics shows that only 3% of the workforce is formally trained or skilled, comparatively 96% in South Korea and 86% in Japan. We need an ecosystem to skill and upskill these people to make India as the skilling capital of the world. And government has come up with certain strategies to skill this for the last so many years, and NSDC is heading this skilling, and we are experienced that actually this is not giving a desired result. And as far as the recruitment industry is concerned, for the last 40 years, we are into this industry and skilling and sending so many people to Middle East. And these people has been made properly skilled and trained. And once they go there, they get proper international exposure and come back as a fully skilled people and all. Now we need to focus on the skilling and assessing their hard skill and soft skill. And Government of India under the Skill Ministry has come up with certain programs called Swadesh, because those people are coming during this crisis. They are collecting the database of all these people under the Swadesh scheme and all. But that is hardly because people, maybe you will get few lakhs people database and all. Because India, I said that every year around 45 to 50 lakhs people looking for a job, and only few data which we are availing through those people working abroad may not be able to sufficient for employing them. We need a proper ecosystem to skill these people. And where this national education policy is very important, will play a major role. Because we were expecting this for a long year, means after 34 years, this policy has been has been implemented, and which shows that actually a tremendous scope that from standard 6 onwards, the vocational training will be starting, and different level of education has been categorized on this thing. Actually, people entering into a graduation course will be getting a diploma in the beginning stages, and they can discontinue and continue their studies. A lot of options has been created, and education has to be more friendly with the students and all, because rather than it's a burden. And if you see the overseas education, because the people are going to Western countries, on US, Australia, and all, they are enjoying the education, whereas in our system, the people, the students are struggling to top, because they are just chasing for getting maximum percentage and all. And this is the main problem. And as far as my experience is concerned, we do a lot of recruitment in a year. And the main problem which we face is that actually we are getting qualified people, but that qualified people are not being employable. Because suppose an engineer is coming, and if he's coming with a lot of certificate, but the problem is that when we interview them, they may not be employable. The client itself is telling that actually they are not being properly. That's why all they are preferring the people who has been worked abroad, because this is the trend is happening for the last few years, and people coming out from the Middle East countries are being re-employed, whereas new people is not getting that much of job. That's why I want to tell you, the job seekers, that whenever you are applying for a job, you need to be fully aware of that your skills and all. It has to be start from your school system itself. The vocational training skill, enhance your skill, and important thing is your language, because many of the people may be having skill also, but they may not be able to communicate properly. And it is very much that actually you should have a proper communication skill. And we, being a diversified country, need to have Hindi and your mother tongue as well as English, because English is an international language. Those are seeking job abroad and that, because other languages is also always advanced to have always advantage to have it actually. And if you want to go to Japan, and Japanese language is having very important, because a lot of opportunities are there for many countries like Japan, Malaysia, Germany, France, Italy, all this area. And when if you want to go to Germany, you need to learn German language. And this is the means the area we need to focus actually. And in the COVID scenario, digitalization is going to play a major role in the recruitment industry too. There will be a transformation in the workplace, working module, work culture, recruitment and pre-medical check, etc. Many foreign employees will prefer multitasking employees. Back-end operation of activities of many FEs will shift to various countries. We will see increase in talent exchange and short-term labor leasing or hiring between the companies. Lot of changes may happen in the labor laws of the destination country, including new modification in working hours, salary structure, contract period, etc. And if you see that the future projects in the Middle East, because I'm basically focused on the Middle East market, and we have so many other panelists are from different part of the world. They will talk about the other markets and all. But future of the GCC market is basically everyone is expecting that Dubai Expo 2020, but that has been postponed to next year, 2021. There will be a scope of manpower, and the FIFA World Cup will be held in 2022 in Qatar. And various projects like Vision 2030 in Saudi Arabia and Vision 2035 in Kuwait and Dukkam project in Oman and various oil and gas projects coming in Qatar, Bahrain and other part of the Middle East and all.
Yes.
And when the rebuilding of Iraq, Syria, Libya take place, many employment opportunities will arise in these countries and various sectors. And as I said that actually as far as the upcoming markets, apart from the GCC, Romania, Poland, Japan, Kazakhstan, Russia, Malaysia, certain African countries. Government of India, basically the Ministry of External Affairs has recently signed a migration mobility agreement with France, Germany and Portugal. And maybe we can expect a lot of opportunities in these countries also. Again, that language and the skill will be a barrier. And for people, the students focusing for the overseas job has to focus on these areas too. And
yes, sir. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Due to some time constraint, I guess we will have to carry on with the other panelists as well.
2 minutes.
So we set the context right. So other panelists can also put their
I'm just finishing 2 minutes.
Yes,
1 minute.
sure.
Okay. Healthcare industry is going to play a major role. It is going to be $100 billion and see a five-fold growth in the next 10 years. We see a major requirements in the healthcare sector, and India can avail the opportunities in the most of the European countries, Middle East, Australia, etc. And these are the main areas. And apart from this healthcare, IT, robotic, artificial intelligence, blockchain, 3D printing, automation, facility management, etc. are the other areas and all. And one more thing is just recruitment frauds and all is happening on online and all. That I will talk about on the next session. And thank you very much. And we'll let us hear and analyze from our panelists too. Thank you.
Yes, Sudhir, sir, you can start.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dr. Suresh. It was pretty enlightening and you also gave us a lot of statistics in terms of what is happening in India as of now, in terms of the people who are graduating, people who are employable, people who are not employable. And yes, I believe your experience comes more to the GCC side, because you have been handling that market for quite some time. And that probably is one of the largest market for us as Indians from the employment point of view. I think GCC still remains one of the largest market at all categories, right from what you said, people who are passing out from the basic skills, as well as high end also, like you're talking about the graduates and postgraduates also. Now, probably I'll share slightly more in terms of what is happening from the African perspective, because I've been here for almost last 15 years. First 15 years I was based out of India, and then for last 15 years I've been in Africa. And I come basically from the IT side. I was working with the Tata Group TCS for quite some time, and then I joined this company called Into IT. Or just even Into IT also, the company was set up by 3 Indians who were based in South Africa, who were working in South Africa at that time, Indian citizens, Indian nationals. And they set up this company. So that will just to tell you, like the business environment in Africa is pretty conducive. They don't have so many restrictions that unless a citizen can start the business activity, anybody can start. The only issue, what I can say from African perspective, because African market is a lot of African countries are very similar to India, very strong youth population. And again, they also will try to protect their own nationals first in terms of, I'm talking about the entry-level jobs. So that's why in Africa, if you see most of the countries, there's not much of the requirement which is happening on the entry-level jobs of people who are coming with the basic qualification. because anyway they have their own citizens, their own nationals who are ready to take up those sort of jobs and those sort of activities. And again, I think Africa has been slightly different from GCC, because here, especially countries like Kenya or East Africa, or up to even South Africa also, where there's a lot of population, which Indian population is migrated long back. This could be the third or fourth generation of Indians who are staying in these countries. Like to give you an example for East Africa, a lot of Gujaratis and Sikhs, they migrated when they were building the railway line, which was connecting Uganda, which was basically the sugar plantation was there. They wanted to bring it to the coast, which was Mombasa. So these guys, this Indian population came long back, and I think this is the fourth generation. And quite a lot of these guys, they also migrated to UK then. You know, when there was some complication happening in the political scenario, a lot of these Gujaratis and Sikhs, they migrated to UK because they got that time the UK government had to give them that facility. So Africa also, like, you know, again, it's a totally different continent, 54 odd countries. Every country has its own legacy, its own way of working. But you will find Indians working across all these countries. Maybe more population in countries, East Africa, like countries like Kenya. South Africa has a very strong population, Indian origin population. Then Nigeria, and West Africa, Nigeria has a very strong population. And Indians are working across. Again, you know, not restricted to only one specific industry. A lot of them are in businesses now. And from the IT side, again, like coming back and summarizing from the IT side, yes, for us, India has been the flag bearer, not only in India, but, you know, not only in mature economies like US, UK and all, but everywhere. You'll find Indians working, Indian organizations, Indian IT companies putting up their footprint, helping a lot of organizations in this part of the world also, in terms of setting the basic IT infrastructure or basic IT applications and all. So we probably, you know, what I feel, if you look from the point of view of our youth, the people who are either graduating now or in the process of getting a course and all, they have to probably fine tune their overseas job opportunity based on what exactly they want to do. From IT side, it is across IT side, because, you know, a lot of on-site work is done, but with the current situation, you know, the focus is more on the offshore also. So it's going to be a mix of a hybrid model where probably the key tasks still have to be continued to be done on the on-site basis, but most of the work probably done on the offshore basis. So there's a huge opportunity, no doubt. But again, this opportunity in Africa is more focused on people who are coming with the experience and who at least got the better qualification credentials. Because otherwise there is a conflict. If you want to bring in Indians for the jobs which can be done by the locals, obviously they will not like it. And with every country will try to protect its own workforce, its own citizens and its own nation first.
Yes,
so I think, you know, probably we need to fine tune based on what exactly happened. And see, globalization has happened in such a way now there is no barrier. There's nothing called barrier in terms of physical barrier, or in terms of communication barrier, in terms of travel barrier. You can be anywhere across the globe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
This is what from my side right now.
Okay, the next is Mr. Suraj Ajit.
Yes, sir.
Hello everyone, and good afternoon to all the Indians watching out there. It's really nice to be here and offer my advice and to the youth here. So I'll just briefly introduce myself. So my name is Suraj Ajit, and I was born in Trivandrum, Kerala. And then right from LKG, I grew up in Bangalore. So I went for schooling in Bangalore, and then I did my engineering in Bangalore University. And then I have something interesting to tell you, because I think hopefully my path or my journey will inspire some of you to take similar steps if you're interested. So after my schooling, I did my engineering, and in my final year engineering degree, so my engineering was in computer science. So in my final year of the engineering, usually I know many of you in India will know that you have this placement system in engineering colleges. So I was placed by a company called Mistral Solutions. And the year I passed out was 2001, and there was some little bit of some kind of a recession at that point. So all the companies who actually recruited the students, not all, but some of them at least, they said that we would have to defer your intake. You may have to wait for a year or so, and then we will see. And so that was the case. So that motivated me to actually look at other opportunities. So I started looking at options to go to US, UK. So I started preparing for GRE, TOEFL, and all these things. And then, of course, I had a lot of assistance from my father, who is himself an IITian, who passed out from IIT, and he was a director of organization in India. So he did help me out. But I think the key here is when there is a situation like this, for example, the COVID situation now, it will actually help you to develop an all-round skills which you can develop. So what I did was I applied for MS in the USA, and I applied for PhD. So many of you may not know, you can directly apply for PhD in countries like UK. Just after your first degree, if you want to do research, that is, if you want to do research, you can directly apply to UK. So I did that, and I was fortunate to get selected for a PhD studentship in UK. So I came here, did my PhD in computer science, and then I got a job in the software industry here. I worked for 5 years in the software industry. Then I realized I really like research and academia. So I moved into university, and now I am actually teaching and doing research here. I'm a deputy head of I've just recently been promoted to deputy head of computing here at the University of Northampton, based in UK. So I'm in a place near Northampton in London. So what I want to really advise for the youth is, the first thing what you really need to do is you need to have some kind of a long-term goal based on your interests. What do you like doing? I think based on what you want to do, what you enjoy doing, you will need to focus your roots again. One of the advantages of coming abroad, I'm sure many of the other panelists will agree with me. One of the things about coming abroad is it develops you as an individual. So you get to see different cultures, because if you just grow up in India, you tend to have a slightly narrow-minded view of things. It's always nice to have some exposure abroad. Even if you don't want to settle abroad, it's always nice to go there and learn how other people in other culture work and operate. Because as you probably know, most MNCs, multinational companies in India, have set up their centers in India, especially in IT. So even in India, when you work, you tend to sometimes work with American clients, English clients from England, German, all this. So you will need to know how to work with people from across the globe. So it is not about just working alone in India with just the Indians. Ultimately, with the current technology, it's all about everybody is easily connected. And so you need to be able to understand, get along with different people of different cultures and progress. So my advice would be, based on your interests, there is no harm, especially if you're in a COVID situation like this. You have opportunities to train yourself and equip yourselves for any other skills if you're planning to come to UK or US. So I don't want to grab all the attention in the show. So I would like to pass it on to some of the other panelists now, what their views are.
Thank you, Suraj, for the wonderful, inspiring speech. And this is always because international exposure, it is must actually. Okay, we will go to the next speaker. This Ms. Sayeda.
Hi, everybody. And I'm really happy to be a part of this discussion. And I do agree with the other panelists and Suraj especially, who says exposure is very important. And you have to come out of your comfort zone. I directly want to address to the youth of today who are looking for a career abroad. But if you see, the youth is already out 1 foot, you know, because there's so much of technology, there's so much of exposure. As when they are in college, they are already exposed to how industries work. For example, I moved out from my comfort zone and from a software company, and got to do a lot with, of course, I started my career. I just wanted to tell you a brief that with EDC itself. So from EDC, I moved to Dubai because I got an opportunity and jumped into a total different industry itself. I work for BASF, which is the world's leading chemical company. So here you get a lot of opportunities, and being in the marketing, you really get exposure. And from, you know, being the link between the global market and all with the changes coming up, the demands of the market, and also the customers' needs. And then you also act like a link with the sales team and the customers. So you see, and there is a lot of diverse culture. And working in BASF has given me a lot of opportunities to also mingle with other nationalities, you know, and it's a close-knit family. And so then you really get to know like how each person thinks, you know, in a different way. Like you have, I have now my colleagues from Germany, and then we have from the UK, and then you also have from the Arab countries, and GCC being the focus, yeah, and of a lot of big, huge projects coming up, and mainly the construction side. So, and with 2020, so there's a lot of opportunities which are going to open. Of course, it's very sad that because of 2020 and the COVID pandemic, it slowed down a bit. And however, well, this is an emerging market, and so we are looking forward to actually getting more like new ideas, new sustainable solutions. And so we are looking forward to the youth. And our focus is from, as Dr. Suresh has put it, like the GCC, there are a lot of Indians. And of course, this is something I always feel at home here. There's no difference. And we are so close to home, to India, that we can fly out anytime in and out. So we really don't miss our culture also. So it's a very comfort zone. And also there are a lot of global companies all over the world, the American companies, the UK based, the German companies, all here. And because this is the trading hub, so there's a lot of focus on this region. And also like Dubai is coming up with huge projects. And so we are focusing as BASF into a lot of innovative products. And also we are having the technology, which is very important. And in today's time, it's very important we are go digital. So technology plays a very important role even in the construction industry. And so also, if you see in BASF, we have like people can join in and you can jump up the ladder. It depends upon how you want to take your career. So that's what I'm trying to say. Drive is the youth of today have to focus on, of course, education, which is the basic. But once you come out into reality, it is totally a rat race. And nowadays there's challenges. And it's nothing like first we used to work, we finish our education and then think of working. But right now the youth itself are involved in a lot of life projects. And so they're getting a hands-on experience from different industries. So once they finish, they know what they want to do. And so that's a fantastic point, you know, and really it's technology which is driving and uniting everybody. And see, today we are in different parts of the world, but still we are connected. So that's the beauty of technology. And in every industry, be agriculture, be, you know, the pharmaceutical, everyone is connected to technology. And I hope, you know, we focus on this, and we also help our and give our experience to the next generation. Yeah. Thank you.
Ma'am. Thank you so much. Sir, you're on mute. Suresh, sir, you're on mute.
Thank you, Sayeda, for the eloquent speech, and you emphasize the importance of international exposure as far as job seeker is concerned. Okay, we'll move to the next speaker, Ashwati Ajay Kumar.
Hello, hi everyone. So this is my first experience in such a panel. So anyway, thank you everyone for inviting me for this. So I'll start with my own journey. So I actually wanted to do an MBA after my BCom. I studied in Christ College in Yalakuda. It's a very big college in Kerala. So I finished my BCom and I actually wanted to do an MBA. And to be frank, I didn't want to go out of India. I wanted to study in like an IIM or such a like one of the top B schools or somewhere like that. So when you think about it, the cost of studying in India. So if you want to study in an IIM, it's almost like 22-23 lakhs, I think. And then I compared like, okay, what if I go abroad? So I thought, okay, so the expense, like what I had to pay was like around 30 lakhs or something for my education. So I started thinking, so if you study in India in a B school, you'll study for the whole 2 years, that's true. But will you get any experience like in the real work area? So you actually won't be able to get any experience in terms of working, like actual working, because you can't work part-time. If you're studying in a B school, you will be studying 24/7, literally even Saturdays and Sundays. So then I thought, okay, I'll go abroad because to be frank, from my family situation, I wanted to stand on my own because I didn't have much of financial support from my family. So then I thought, okay, I'll go abroad. And so that's how I came to Australia. And on choosing Australia, one of the reasons was that obviously when it was the time, like it was in 2018, during that time, UK didn't have much of a stay back. Like UK didn't give, I think UK only gave 6 months stay back, whereas Australia gave like 2 years stay back. So that was one option. Also, Australia is one of the countries in the world with one of the highest basic pay. So we get like here, it's a $19 or something per hour, what we earn, the basic pay. Whereas if you go to UK or US, it's like 10 or 9 or that range. So from a financial standpoint, I thought, okay, Australia is a good option. And then I started applying to different universities. And then, when you think about PR and everything, and then ultimately I chose University of Canberra. And as I'm from an accounting background, I chose Master of Professional Accounting. To be frank, at first when I chose that course, I didn't have much of a planning, like, as one of our previous panelists told, I didn't have much of a clear-cut plan. Okay, I thought, okay, this is from my area and I'm interested in accounting and numbers. Okay, I thought I'll try, Masters in Professional Accounting. And, to be frank, what studying in Australia has helped me realize is that, like, there are people out there who would like to do a 9-to-5 job, but I'm not such a person who would be interested in doing a 9-to-5 job for my entire career or my whole life. So that's when actually, when you get a real life exposure to the work world, that's when you realize your what you actually want or what your interests are. So that's when I realized I'm more interested in studying and learning than just a 9-to-5 job. And to be frank, in Australia, studying is more of a, what to say, I would say it's a part-time thing here because you don't have 24/7 classes here. You have classes for like 2 days in a week, and then lectures are all recorded. So if whenever you're free, you can hear the lectures. You don't need to go to the class or actually be there in the class to attend the lecture. Then you have tutorials and stuff. It's quite flexible here to study. So from my view, for a student who want to be independent from a very early stage, like you want to be independent on your own, you want to earn some money, you want to contribute something to your family, I would say studying abroad is a very good option when compared to India. And one other thing I wanted to share was that, there is a tendency in India for everyone to be an engineer or a doctor. So coming to the reality, it's actually quite different. And when I'm in Australia, what I have felt is that Here people don't, doesn't matter what degree you have. To be frank, if you just study till 11th or 12th, that's fine. As long as you have some like vocational skills, like you know how to fix a, you know, a light bulb, you can be an electrician, that's fine. So it doesn't matter what job you're doing here. You just have to be good in that, that's all. And one of the main areas, this is for upcoming youth or kids who wants to study something different. Psychology is a very good option. It's a booming industry here in all these UK, US or Australia. It's a very booming industry, especially during this time with COVID and everything. There is, you know, very big demand for psychologists and people like that. Also for IT people, this is a very good option. Australia is a very good option. So basically, I would tell you not to become an engineer or a doctor. There are better options out there. You just have to be patient to find out what you really want. Maybe I'm saying that because I'm from a different background, but actually, you know, for your whole life, if you don't like something, you can't work with it. You have to find your interest. So don't be just a doctor or engineer, find something else. So I think that's what.
So basically follow your passion to be successful.
Yeah, just follow your passion. Yeah, follow your passion. You never know. And there are people with plans, like set goals. Okay, I want this, I want that. But there are people out there like me, I would say, who don't have a set goal. Okay, to be frank, I didn't know what I wanted till I came here in Australia. I realized what I wanted after coming here.
Thank
So
you.
just
Thank
take
you
your
so
time.
much. So
Yeah.
actually, I have a question from youth perspective. That is, I'm a graduate. So I wanted to know, how is the work culture different from India and other countries? And how can we as youth adapt to it? So anybody from the panel can take it up.
Yeah,
So-
I can
yes.
take it up.
Yes, sir. Please.
Okay, I think it's a very good question, first of all, from the panel, because that is one of the things I was talking about earlier about adapting to the different cultures. I have been to some other countries like Germany and Greece, but I'll mainly talk about culture in UK. So one of the things that you find is when you come to a different country, sometimes people tend to not talk as much. In India, we are more very sociable. So we go in the office and we just talk, hello, how are you? How's your family? And all that. But you'll find in some Western countries in the UK, and you don't want to get too, people don't really talk so freely as much. And that doesn't mean they are rude to you, but some of the people, they don't like to get too personal. So for instance, in India, one of the differences I find is you tend to ask more about your personal life and all that. But in the Western countries, especially, they don't like people asking too much about your personal lives unless you're really close to them. That's one point.
Okay.
Yeah, and when see again, like from African context is slightly different. Africa is more like India, so a lot of time is spent in social social interaction and all. But I fully agree with Dr. Suji that yes, this is what. Another thing, what I've observed, because I've been also staying out of country for quite some time, somehow we carry that legacy. As Indians, we always carry that legacy that we are not meant to be a 9-to-5 sort of job people. If you even in Africa also you see, because quite a lot of countries were also ruled by British. So the locals and all will work absolutely 9-to-5. After 5, you can't even touch them. You can't even call them after 5. While Indians will be keep on slogging. You will be leaving office at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and on weekends also you'll be getting all the mails and you'll respond to that. Locals will refuse. Once the Friday has come, that you can't touch them for any official work on weekends.
Yeah, one more quick point I can add. Another thing is dignity of labor. So for example, if you're a student and you're coming here, you're doing some part-time jobs. So if you're working in a restaurant or you're working in a grocery store, in a supermarket, people still respect you and people value you well. Unlike in, I think in India also it's changing now. But there's still, I think, a long way to go. But it doesn't matter what your financial status is or how great you are, you still get respected in Western countries. That's one thing.
No, I fully agree with him. I fully agree. Even here also, absolute dignity of labor. Like nobody, I think that sort of class or that sort of division within the society is not there. I fully agree.
Yeah.
That's great.
Here, of course, there's a lot of division, but of course, labor is different and things. But you know, in their own sort of culture, they have the dignity. Like for example, you know, your industry itself. So you've been appreciated for what you do, you're awarded for what you do, and you're recognized. And so that gives a real boost to us, you see. So that's good.
And one more thing I wanted to add was that, you know, there's a tendency in India, like that's what I've heard, for bosses to be like rude to your employees, but and the employees usually can't talk back because you lose your job or your visa. But here the thing is, if someone talks rudely to you, that's it. You stop talking to me like that, and you can say that actually to his face, because everyone is respected and given their due importance here.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean,
India is but slowly changing also. You know,
everywhere things are changing.
It's changing because the globalization, you know, is happening, and so they are also, you know, exposed to a lot of things. So I think there's a slow change there.
Yeah, another thing is wherever you go abroad, you'll always find Indians with you to support you.
Yes, very true.
So it's not like you're going into moon and there's nobody there. You'll always find some fellow Indians who will always be there if you miss India. So you don't have to worry about that.
And what do you do, you know, whether you want to run away from your people.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The
Indian workforce are in high demand everywhere. If you see that actually
we try to create our close-knit family. Like, you know, you have that somehow, you know, you've been probably born and brought up in that environment. So although you're staying out of country, but still you try to create a sort of Indian knit society.
Yeah.
Yeah, and outside it doesn't matter whether you're Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Sri Lanka. We all generally come together.
Yeah.
There is not much difference because we are a minority here.
Okay, shall we move to the next question?
Yes, I guess we could go to the Q&A session.
Yeah, the next question is, do you need to reskill yourself often when you work abroad? And what is the focus from expectations? Do you need to reskill yourself often when you work abroad?
Yeah, I can take that up. Actually, when you study in India, like I studied in Bangalore University, in Indian education, I mean, of course, the new educational reform is going to hopefully bring about nice changes. But normally in Indian education, the theory is taught a lot. So I studied a lot of theory in my engineering. But when you come here, now I'm teaching master's students and most of them come from India. In my master's course in my university, majority are from Indians. The problem they usually have is they'll have learned a lot of theory in software programming, but when it comes to actually developing a small product or doing something, they sometimes find it difficult. So I think the vocational skills or the practical skills matter. So it's not just about the theory. You should actually be good at doing some practicals, but you can always develop that in your own time if it's not part of your education. Okay.
That's correct, because actually what Ashwati said, that actually everybody want to become engineers and doctors, but the employability of the engineers is comparatively very low, because if you see that the number of engineers in India is much higher than the other countries actually and all. And when you complete an engineering and to get an employment, you need to have certain courses and all. Because I will talk about the perspective of the Middle East market. For an example, HSC engineers has to do some courses like IOSH, OSHA, NEBOSH and all. And if it is a quality engineer, they need to do CC. And for so many courses are there actually for different stream and all. And without that upskilling, you may not be able to get a job with only a qualification. What Mr. Sujit said, that actually, basically our education system is based on the theory. And to practical, we are not giving the importance. And certain projects are happening in the colleges, schools and all is a different thing. But the problem is that unless and until the faculty is not coming out to the industry and do a research together, because industry, the subject itself is such institution and industry collaboration. Without that, we may not be able to sustain and become the world superpower or world economic power or something.
Yeah, that's right. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
And then secondly, you always have local regulations also. Like you might have done your, let's say, just to give an example of accounting, you might have done CA from India, but the CA may not be recognized in, let's say, in UK. You might have to do the local certification. Same thing could be in Australia. So
Yep.
it has to be, you know, some of the skills, like from the IT perspective, we look at, then it is more technology driven. So there you probably are not reskilling yourself. You're looking more in which technology you want to work on now. But for some other courses, yes, you have to do the local certification or the local registration to medical. Like MBBS is not recognized in a lot of other countries. You need to register and do some maybe a 1 year course or 1 year one year residentship to qualify as a doctor.
And even nursing, earlier they only needed like a 6 months bridging course or something, but now I think they need a 1 year bridging course or something. So definitely, yeah.
So another question is the work opportunity. So when you compare India and abroad, how is the work opportunity different? So if anybody could enlighten us on that for youth.
Okay, I can talk about UK. UK just recently introduced this 2-year post-study visa. So that's why there's a huge demand of Indians coming here since last year. So we used to have only 5 to 10 students in the masters, but now we have over 100 students, and majority are from India. Because what happens is after the degree here in UK, only masters is only 1 year. So you get to stay one more year in the country to explore opportunities, and you don't have to return immediately. So that is slightly helping people to come. But I think Australia, maybe Ashwati may be able to comment on the situation there.
Indian students form a major portion as usual, but in Australia, we also have a lot of Chinese students, like a lot, like maybe double or triple times, maybe 3 times Indians. There are a lot of Chinese people here.
I think they're everywhere.
Obviously. But like we have more of affinity towards China. I mean, more trade connections and stuff with China. So yeah. But the thing is, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like there are different opportunities. It depends upon you. And one major thing I felt in landing a job is that you need to know the right people. You need to make the social connections, like, and just as we told before, the community we have, like I know a lot of people from Kerala, so that's how you connect with people and land a job. Maybe, yeah, that's my experience.
Yeah, and also your personal skills, how you speak to people, your personality also it does help to some extent. So you don't want to be very shy. Yeah. You don't want to be very shy. You want to be very presentable and very, very sociable. So for instance, you want to present yourself very well. That matters when you go for an interview. So you don't want to.
Yeah.
Saidam, I'm being from a Middle East perspective. Could you help us out with this?
Well, here it's a bit of different because we do have universities now. You have Indian universities like the BITS and Amity University, and you get actually students coming from India and studying here. And, and they really get exposure. And here also the companies itself, they have projects in the universities. So they go and they actually introduce the products in the university. So before the students could even come out of the universities, they already know different industries. And so, they tie up. So there is a lot of like interaction between the universities and the industries itself. And as I told you, yes, you have to really be confident. That is very important. Yes, to present yourself, as Suraj said, that is the most important thing, and also to be confident. Yeah, no matter what it is. Even he may be, excellent in English, and he is say a German or the president of the company. You can actually walk in, and say hello. That breaks the barrier. You can
and don't worry if your English is poor or bad.
No,
not as
not
bad.
at all.
It doesn't matter actually. Your English doesn't matter.
Yes.
Because as Indians, they know that we're not actual English speakers, so they don't really care about your English. All they need to know your skill. That's all.
Yeah.
Yes, you just have to say it's not my native language. This is what I learned from the English.
That's it. Yeah.
They taught me. That's what.
Yeah.
So that's how you build your confidence. And as you keep talking to different people and knowing more, it's always very important to learn in every step. And it's also important to give your best shot. And once, as students step out, this reality is totally different. Yeah. And
Yes.
yes, you get confused of what to do. But believe me, industries are now working on developing people, irrespective of a lot of jobs are being taken by robotics and different things like that. But still, there are a lot of development programs here I've seen in big industries who are working a lot towards developing their people, yeah, and the skills. It depends upon how you push it. You're a dreamer, you're an achiever, you see. So that is very important, to be confident within yourself. And I see a lot of people here doing that. And also, yes, there's no culture like you work and study here also is something like in India. And here we have the Indian community. As Nikita, you know how it is at home. They'll not allow you to go and work part-time. Yeah.
Yep.
But in Australia and the other countries, it's dignity of labor. You can do it, and and you still already are earning, so you get that urge. But yes, of course, when you start doing that and you step out, what happens is the youth, they already are used to that earning a small buck. So when they step out, they want to really be fast, and quick. So I call it
Okay.
the generation
We'll
of
move to the next question.
yes.
Okay. Did you all start with a dream of walking abroad or transition with your experience and opportunities?
That's a very interesting.
Yeah,
In
I
my
think
case,
I already.
it was not, you
Never
never
had a
planned
dream.
out, like what probably Dr. says, he planned it out. But sometimes it happens like you get an assignment or you get an opportunity and you take it. Like, and Sayed also said she started her career with EDC itself in India. For me also, I was working in India almost for 15 years. And when this opportunity came, I just took it. It was not planned. Honestly, it was not planned.
Yeah, for me, I think the recession helped. Yeah. For me, the
Okay.
recession where because of the recession, I started looking abroad and the opportunities, and that actually was a blessing in disguise, I would say.
Okay. The next question is, what are the things you guys miss most as Indian while working abroad?
I would say the Indian food.
Here as Indian, there are a lot of, the other, what do you say,
Nationals.
the English coming nationals coming and telling you, can you do this? Can you do that? So you say, sorry, I'm not that Indian goddess with a lot of hands. I can do only same thing as you. Then they say, oh, yes, yes. The Indians there have, you all can do multitasking. Say, no. So that is, that's not right. We need to change that, and they do not do more than, as also already mentioned, we do more. We do excess. Just
Multitasking.
yes, that's actually the wrong culture. We are spoiling the culture. And so we need to, set back, because we are really not going to gather more points to us. No, no. So we need to be calm and take, as it goes.
Okay, the next
What
question
I see
is,
connect for Indian sentiment in terms of the religious activities, in terms of the cultural get together is much higher when you are out of country. I think you're more connected to each other, and maybe we were again lucky to be in a place like Nehru, which is like you don't miss out anything from India. You have, from the religious sentiment, you have everything: temples and the mosque and the gurudwaras and churches and everything.
Actually, you become more
spend more
patriotic when
time
you
in this
step out.
religious, what probably I wouldn't have been spending in India.
Yes.
I think
You become more patriotic.
I think the only thing
More patriotic.
Yes, yes.
okay, the next question is, what are the opportunities and benefits of starting a business abroad? What are the upcoming areas of upcoming areas for young entrepreneurs? Starting a business abroad.
See, again, I'll talk from Africa and from the IT perspective. I told you the company where I'm working also has been set up by the Indians who were working here, like who came to Africa, like me, who came and set it up. So I think here is very conducive. Obviously, from the IT side, it can start anywhere. You can start your outfit anywhere. Your entity could be set up anywhere, and you can provide the services across the globe now. And it's some of these countries, probably the laws to set up your own businesses is much more conducive, and it is probably much more easier. I'll put it this way.
Yeah, and here also there are a lot of free zone areas where anybody can trade in and also start their companies. But yeah, to be entrepreneurs. But however, you see the youth is mostly now focusing on having their own business. So that is also there. So you have a lot of Indian companies coming to the Gulf region and starting their own companies, registering with these free zone areas, like Dubai has its free zone, and Sharjah, and and even the airport free zones. So of course the procedures are a bit tough, but of course it all depends upon the money here. So you pay and you can start, and that's how it goes.
We will take the last question because 5 more minutes is there. What motivated the panelists to look at a global job and a career?
Okay, I told you from me it was I was anyway in the IT side, but more, not in the software programming and all, more in the sales and business development side. So this opportunity came where I was supposed to set up the services, the software services practice for this company. I thought it was challenging, and I just came here. It's like that, and stayed back.
Yeah,
So normally you come for 2-year contract, while like all these countries have a work permit, which is normally for 2 years. But somehow, you like the place, and the weather at this place is absolutely like, it's right now throughout the year we have such an excellent weather. So we just stayed back. It's like that.
I think the simple answer is the competition is lesser in Western countries. The competition is very high in India. So
That's true. That's completely true.
yeah, you find that the rat race is lesser and the competition is less. So it is not as stressful as you find it in India.
It's for me, it was just an opportunity to come out of my comfort zone and explore. And of course, now that it is, you get used to this very organized way of working. And in India, it's still that very haphazard way, and it has to fall in place. So the cultures are different, and hopefully we should see. But as India is the largest country with largest youth, so our focus is now back to India, and hopefully we should see our country, in the same lines of the rest of the world.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Suresh, sir, if you would like to close this or sum it up in a minute.
Yeah. Okay, in fact, it was indeed a nice interaction because a lot of discussion has been happened from Africa to US to Australia to Dubai and all. And we hope that our people who has been attended this webinar has been benefited with a lot of information. Those want to seek job abroad or start entrepreneurship in out of the country and all. And basically what we understood is that actually the current situation, skill building is an important instrument to increase the efficacy and quality of labor for improved productivity and economic growth. Skill building is a powerful tool to empower individuals and improve their social acceptance. As India targets to become the global economic powerhouse, it is need to equip its workforce with employable skills and knowledge to make India a developed economy. Employment landscape is changing swiftly, new jobs are emerging, and with rapid disruption in the business model around the globe. Building an advanced skilling system to match the requirement, a system that responds well to the business needs, while opening opportunities for all people in need of the hour. Transforming the way employers invest in their workforce and use skill of their employees can help meeting new skill requirement. We need to have a collaboration among individuals, institutions, and industries. Institution, as I said, that actually institutions should collaborate with industries for more reachable and research, and hope the new educational policy will pave the way for a new era in the educational system in the new normal context, which will enable the youth with more career choices and opportunities.
Thank you.
I would like to end with a quote by Franklin Roosevelt that we cannot always build the future of our youth, but we can build our youth for our future. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the excellent session.